So one of the things that tends to trip up students here as they're beginning their developer's journey is why are some functions void and why are other functions integer or string or char character or double or float or what have you. And the answer to that is because it provides you, the developer, with a wide range of flexibility. So this is my suggestion when you are, you know, you're formulating what the function has to do is determine whether or not the work of the function is something that other functions are going to require, or if the work of the function is something that is for display purposes mainly. So in the function, it's the third example we have for you here with passing of parameters and global variables. You'll notice that many of the function types there are void. They do work, so they take a variable and multiply it by something and just display that something. Great. And it doesn't need to return anything. The value of having that function is to make the display. So it's a void type because once it's done making a display, it doesn't matter if it passes anything back to main because its work is done and it's all self-contained. There's no reason for the work of that function to have an impact on another function. Other times, on the other hand, you want that to be returned. If you think about something like, and you'll see it here in the chapter, is a bank program, right? So if you do a withdraw, that is removing funds from your balance, right? And if you do a deposit, that is adding funds to your total, right? Two very different things. I feel as though I'll speak for myself, I do many, many more times withdrawals than I do deposits, which is probably not good financial sense, right? So at any rate, what we have is here, let me just to ask a question that clearly you are not going to be able to respond to, but just ponder in the meantime. Is my balance going to be an integer? No, right? Because there can be change. I can have $20.04 in my account, or I can have $11.60 in my account, whatever the case might be. You'll notice they're not big numbers, right? Teacher's salary. So what about a deposit? Is a deposit going to be an integer? No. Is a withdrawal going to be an integer? No. So those are very, very probably going to be floating point or double values. For you and me, it's floating point. I would suggest that if we were building an application for a bank, you would go whole ass and give them double variables because some corporations are in fact going to have very, very large numbers to deal with. So if we want a withdrawal from our balance, we're probably going to want to update our balance, right? So a withdraw would have a return type, or an update balance would have a return type because we need the rest of the program to continue to work with that new value read into our balance. The same is true with a deposit. Once I make a deposit, I want that number to be added to my balance, right? So that's going to be something that has a return type because I want my balance to be updated based on the withdrawal or the deposit. So that's one of the big tripping points that students and developers have here in the beginning is why do I pick what happens here? And the answer is you pick what happens based on the scenario you're in, which is a terrible answer to give you, I know. But that means, hey, look, if you need a function to do its work and it doesn't have an impact on the rest of the overall running of your program, it's probably a void. All of your display type functions are going to be void. If you need a return value, so if the resultant of your function has an impact on the rest of your program, it's a return type. And the only thing that's important is what kind of variable you're returning. Is it a character? Is it a string? Is it an integer? And that's going to be the kind of function that you design. So that's it. It's really not as mystifying as it appears to be in the very, very beginning here.